The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
There's only so many pastors they can have. And if their pastor's Al Sharpton right now, that's fine. But then that's it. We don't want any more black pastors coming in here.
White people, you need your nigger friends so they can tell you when shit is not appropriate.
Or other, Jesse Jackson, whoever was in here earlier this week, sitting with the victim's family, trying to influence a jury in this case. If a bunch of folks came in here dressed like Colonel Sanders with white masks sitting in the back, I mean, that would be a problem.
Welcome to the Daily Read, people. That was an attorney from Roddy Bryant talking about how he doesn't want any more black pastors in the courtroom for the Ahmaud Arbrey trial. We're going to talk about that later. I've been under the weather for the last 2 weeks, and things have brightened up for me a little bit. I had a bad congestion in my chest. I thought it was COVID at first, but it wound up being just a regular bad cold. You know, I work out in the elements doing construction sometimes, and it gets bad out here. And I got real sick. I was down. I had a big scare. I've had my COVID shot, but it wasn't COVID. I went and got tested. It wasn't COVID, and they gave me some strong antibiotics and medicine and stuff, and knocked it right on out. As you can tell, my voice is still kind of raspy a little bit, but you know, I've been following things going on in the news for the last 2 weeks, along with trying to get my sponsors together and everything for my show. But this is something serious, people. The judicial system is showing its true colors with 2 cases that is going on in America right now. 2 major cases involving Black Lives Matter up in Wisconsin, and involving a young black kid who went into a building curious. I think he was curious. He could have been looking for something to steal. I don't know. Nobody knows. But the problem is, you can't arrest somebody or try to detain somebody for suspicion. The fact of the matter is, he didn't take anything, and he went back on his job or whatever he was doing with nothing in his hand, nothing he took out of the place. And these men hunted him down basically and lynched him. And like I said, we're gonna talk about the Ahmaud Arbrey case a little later on, because I got some good news and I got some bad news for you. Now, I try to keep it real with you, and you know I try to keep it real with you at all times, people. And to be honest with you, the Kyle Rittenhouse case might not go all the way to a conviction. So I want America, the part of the public that actually listens to my show, I want you to be prepared to find a not guilty verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Be prepared, people. And the reason why I'm saying is, okay, he brought an illegal weapon into Wisconsin. You see, where he lives, being his age, he can have that gun. But living in Wisconsin, he has to be over the age of 18 to have that gun, and he at the time was 17. So, number one, he brought an illegal weapon. I'm talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I'm going to give you the bad news first, then I'm going to give you the good news, what I think is going to happen with the Ahmaud Arbrey case. I think they're going to find those guys guilty. But back to the Kyle Rittenhouse case. If you involved in a bank robbery and you drive the bank robber to the spot, and he jumps out the car, goes in, commits a bank robbery, and gets caught, and you drive away, you're still going to be charged with bank robbery. Understand how that works. Kyle Rittenhouse brought an illegal weapon with 30-round clip, with 30 rounds, into Wisconsin illegally. He is ultimately responsible for those people's death, because the initial committal of the crime was he brought an illegal weapon into Wisconsin. So he is ultimately responsible for what happened in Wisconsin, even though it might have looked like self-defense. You see, how this all played out was, it was some words passed between the first man he killed and him. He took off running. They followed him. He got scared because another person in the crowd shot a gun in the air. Kyle Rittenhouse turns around and shoots the first person probably that approached him, which was the guy that he was already arguing with, the first man he killed. Follow along with me, people, because I think he's a piece of crap and I think he should be convicted. But I'm telling you right now, people, the way things are looking in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, I don't think he's going to get convicted, people. Okay? His defense attorney found a video showing one of the people he shot had pointed a gun at him. Now, this goes along with the second and third person he shot. After he killed the first guy, he took off running, and everybody was screaming that he was an active shooter. So the rioters and the people on scene that was out there in the streets tried to stop him. One of the guys that tried to stop him had a gun, and they have a still footage of the man running up on Kyle Rittenhouse with the gun after Kyle Rittenhouse shot the second guy, and then the guy with the gun got shot in the wrist or the hand. But the photo clearly showed the guy that ran up on Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun. Okay? So any reasonable person can deduce that the boy was scared and he shot that guy in self-defense. But like I said, he brought an illegal weapon to Wisconsin. Ultimately, if that weapon wasn't there, those three individuals wouldn't have got shot. He's ultimately still responsible. Now, capital murder, no. I think they overreached by trying to charge him with murder. They should have charged him with manslaughter, because like I said, he's still responsible for those people's deaths because he brought that gun to that situation, which was an illegal gun. He didn't bring a legal gun to that situation. So by him bringing an illegal gun, he's still responsible. But the jury, which is mostly, I think, white people, and the fact that the judge the judge is acting like a wild man, like he's just on Kyle Rittenhouse's side. The judge in the case is telling people, told the prosecution that you can call these people rioters and looters, but you can't call them victims. That was strange to me. And basically he's giving everything to the Kyle Rittenhouse camp, allowing them to basically do whatever they want. Now they're trying to say because the judge chewed out the prosecutor in the case about a miscalculation on his part, that they're trying to get a mistrial. Okay, now, like I said, people, this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it's going to wind up being bad news, and be prepared for it. I highly doubt they're going to charge this kid, convict this kid of murder. Now, manslaughter, if the jury was given the option of manslaughter, which they probably should have been given, I think he should have been charged with manslaughter originally. The prosecution should have been looking at the whole evidence and said, okay, it clearly looks like he was scared for his life, but he wouldn't have been in that situation if he wouldn't have brought that illegal gun to the situation. So basically they should have just charged him with manslaughter. So now I want to get into this fake cry Now, I took some acting classes down in Atlanta, and I've seen people that can cry like, you know, at the drop of a dime, because it's a technique actors use where they think of bad memories that they've had, and then they tear up, and I just give you an example of that, and for those of you who watch me, who listen to me on iHeartRadio, you couldn't see how I just, you know, did that. I could literally bring tears to my eyes right now, you know, just sitting here talking on this microphone. It's a technique. It's not, everybody can't do it, people. It is a technique, and it does take a little practice. And you can clearly tell that this kid was trying his best to cry, but he has no emotions about that. You know, I'm just gonna stop talking and give you the video of it. Watch this.
There were three people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what I... That's what I run.
We're gonna just take it. Time for our break anyway.
I'm gonna stop there right there. That young man, I'm telling you, people, I've seen it done. He's trying to force himself to cry, but he can't, because he really has no, he's not even emotional about that. You know, he done took 2 people lives. He shot 3 people, took 2 of their lives, and he don't care. You know, he doesn't care. And I think he knows he's going to get off on this, you know. And but, you know, like people might disagree with me. People might think that he was probably really distraught. But I'm looking at this kid, and it's looking like he's trying to force himself to cry, but he has no empathy. You know, ain't not a tear in his face. Did no tear drip from his face, people? Not one. I don't believe it. And you know, like I was saying earlier about the whole Ahmaud Arbrey case, that's a different ball game. You know, that's something that's those men, they're gonna get convicted. I can tell how things is going in that case. Those men are gonna get convicted. But I want you to really pay attention to how the judge told the jury in the Kyle Rittenhouse case to step out of the room, and then he chewed the lawyer out, the prosecutor out. And this is by design. The reason I say this is by design, because now if the jury does convict Kyle Rittenhouse, what's going to happen is, on appeal, just because this judge chewed out the prosecution, he might win on an appeal. After about 2 years from now, after everybody done forgot about this case, nobody's following the case anymore. If the jury convicts Kyle Rittenhouse, he might get off on an overturn of his conviction by an appeals court. So check out what the judge did, how the judge set this up to where even if Kyle Rittenhouse does get convicted, another judge can come along later on and vacate the sentence. Watch this.
The court left the door open.
For me, not for you.
My understanding of
You should have come and asked for reconsideration. I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my rulings. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the
Don't
defense testimony.
get brazen with me.
My good faith feeling this morning after watching that testimony was you had left the door open a little bit. Now we had something new, and I was going to probe it.
I don't believe you. When you say that you were acting in good faith, I don't believe that, okay?
Basically, the judge is calling this prosecutor a liar. That's basically what he's doing. He's calling the prosecution a liar, and that's going to leave the door open for even if Kyle Rittenhouse does get convicted, it'll get overturned later on just because of this judge right here and the things he's doing on the bench to help Kyle Rittenhouse. So I think this is already in the making. They're going to make, Kyle Rittenhouse is either going to be found innocent or he's going to get convicted, and later on, about a year or two from now, once everything works its way through the appeals court, they're going to cite this judge up here berating and calling the prosecution a liar and a bad faith actor, and it's going to mess the whole case up to where Kyle Rittenhouse eventually will get off on these murder charges. But this is basically the courts being exposed. They're being exposed right now. This is not something that's just new. It's new because it's being out in the public on public display right now. But this has been going on. I often tell a story because I know a lot of people that watch my show or listen to my show on iHeartRadio. They like when I tell anecdotes of exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I have a friend who did 7 years in federal prison for having a gun illegally. There was a white man in jail with him that had the same gun charge. But what they did to his case, the prosecutor took away the gun charge and charged him with a lesser charge as long as he pled guilty to it, a lesser charge called possession of stolen goods. Now, understand how this works. Stolen goods can be a stolen TV, a stolen gun, stolen bullets, stolen shoes. Stolen goods, when you put it on paper, it doesn't look like a stolen gun. So the white guy who had the same charge initially that the black guy had, my friend, he got a lesser charge called felon in possession of stolen goods. That white man got 11 months, 29 days in the county jail and got out back with his family. My partner, my friend, who had a stolen gun illegally, the feds came and picked him up because they didn't give him a lesser charge of felon in possession of stolen goods. You see, these are what you call loopholes in the law that gets white people lesser time and give black people more time in prison. They've been doing this. They've been doing this for decades. Okay? It's finally being exposed. Let's continue on with this Kyle Rittenhouse before we move on to the Ahmaud Arbrey case, because I want y'all to see the differences in them.
How it all started. This defendant with the illegally obtained gun showed up with 30 rounds of ammunition and an aggressive assault rifle.
When you decided to bring your AR-15 loaded with 30 rounds down to the 63rd Street car source location, what did you think you needed protection against?
I didn't really think I was going to have to protect myself.
You told us just now you brought it along for protection.
I did, but I didn't think I was going to need to protect myself.
You brought it along for protection, but you didn't think you needed protection?
See, the difference is this is white privilege on display, people. This is white privilege on display. This kid is just telling you he brought a gun, and this is not the only thing he said. Now he said some other stuff about how when the prosecutor asked him, he said, "Why did you pick the AR-15?" He said, "Because I thought it looked nice. I thought it looked cool." He said, "You didn't pick the gun for home defense?" He said, "No, I just thought it looked cool." And this is the problem with the gun culture in America. There's really no need for all of this. A simple, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you what a guy told me who shoots guns on the regular. He says a real shootout lasts seconds, 3 to 4 shots at the most. If you shooting more than 3 or 4 shots, you're in a gun battle. There shouldn't be gun battles on the streets of America. Listen to what I just said. A guy who's a gun expert told me that, the whole thing about guns is it's meant to stop people from hurting you or defend your property and things of that nature. If you shoot more than 3 rounds, you in a gun battle. Because that's all it takes. Boom, boom, that's it. Pop, pop, or boom, boom, however you want to put it, the gun sound, that's all it takes. If you pop, 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 I'm demonstrating y'all gun sounds. But if you doing all of that, there shouldn't be no need for all of that. There shouldn't be no need for all of that gunplay on the streets. Not in America. Maybe in Iraq, maybe in Afghanistan, maybe in other countries. But here in America, there shouldn't be no need for major gun battles in the streets. And this kid is a prime example of white privilege. It's on full display, people. So I just had to give you the bad news first. And then now we're finna get into the Ahmaud Arbrey. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of good news, what I think's finna happen in the Ahmaud Arbrey case. We'll be back.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Me and Bae gon' always be tight. Though you not with me every single day and night. Even when they start to acting like a fool, yeah, they loving every single thing you do. You know that they can always be themselves. They love each other more than anybody else. And every day as you see them on YouTube, you know there's not one, it'll always be just two. Too stupid Emily, too stupid Emily, too stupid family. They'll make you scream. It makes me wanna sing. It's a family thing, the family. Too stupid family, stupid family. They'll push your buttons. It makes me wanna cry. It's a family thing, the family. Too stupid family.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
A defense attorney today raised an issue with high-profile, nationally known activist pastors being in the courtroom during the trial of 3 men charged in the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbrey.
Now, I want y'all to listen to how that newscaster put that whole situation. He put that whole situation as the lawyer for one of the defendants in the Ahmaud Arbrey case is basically raising an objection of high-profile people. Notice what he said, high-profile people, black pastors. And when he said that, and I looked at the video is totally different from what this newscaster is actually saying. He's trying to downplay it, but there's a difference, people, in the Ahmaud Arbrey case. Number one, Ahmaud Arbrey didn't take nothing. Rowdy, the guy named Rowdy, saw a black man running and a white pickup truck with 2 white men chasing him, and automatically took the sides of the white men. The lawyer asked him in the case, did you even ask the black guy, was he okay? Do he need assistance? He said no. He told one of the investigators no. And the reason why is because his racial bias automatically thought that the black man had to have done something. He don't even know the Bryans. Don't even know these people. He don't even know the man who owned that house that Ahmaud Arbrey walked through. I've done it as a kid. I've seen abandoned houses. Me and my friends had sticks just in case dogs was in there. And we walked inside the abandoned place and looked around, not looking for nothing to steal, but just curious kids, you know. And a generation before my generation would have walked in there and spray painted a wall or something, you know, because they do spray paint, they call it tagging. Spray painting was big back in the days, in the 80s, early 80s and the late 70s. So generation before me would have walked in there not to steal something, but maybe to spray paint their name on the wall or something. This is what curious kids do. Now, could he have been in there trying to look for something to steal? Maybe. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't take nothing. They had no proof he didn't take nothing. Now they're trying to say that they was trying to make a citizen's arrest. In order to make a citizen's arrest, you got to know that this person has done a crime. See, when you make a citizen's arrest, people, I'm trying to keep my voice as low as I can. You know, I'm still kind of under the weather. But in order to make a citizen's arrest, I'm gonna give you an example of what that means. If I see two guys fighting, but I saw the first guy hit the other guy first, I can grab the first guy, put him on the ground, and make a citizen's arrest and hold him there until the police come. Because I witnessed him punch this other guy first. And when the police get there, I'm gonna tell them, look, I seen him hit that guy right there, and he was beating him up, so I had to stop it, make a citizen's arrest. I detained him until y'all got here. That's what a citizen's arrest is. Just to see a young black kid running down the street, now you're trying to make this claim that you was trying to make a citizen's arrest. What was you making a citizen's arrest for? He didn't have nothing in his hands. You know, you didn't see him take nothing. Matter of fact, the Bryans didn't even see him go in that building. Listen to what I'm saying, people. They didn't even see him go in that building. There was another man across the street from that building who saw him go in there and called 911. And he got on the witness stand and said he regret even calling 911 because he didn't see him take nothing. He just went in there and came out. Then videotape popped up on several people, including white people, walking inside that building. Just walking in there and walking back out. Kids, little white kids, going in, going out the building, you know, just looking around, curious. Like, man, this is an open house. The house has got timber and wood everywhere, construction work going on, and they just walking in there, looking around. Listen to what one of the detectives said about Ahmaud Arbrey.
Never seen him with anything in his hands coming or going from the property on the videos that I have seen.
Lawyers for defendant Greg McMichael, his son Travis, and neighbor William Bryan portray Arbrey as a suspicious figure who the men had reason to think had committed a crime. Meanwhile, outside the court, a defense attorney who rarely talks to the media tried to calm the outrage about his colleague's comment about black pastors.
That statement was totally asinine, ridiculous. In no way do we want to exclude anybody from this process. Everyone is welcome. Come one, come all.
Now, that last little bit of that video clip was a lawyer who works with the other lawyer who said that we don't want any more black pastors up in here. Okay? Now, the man did come back and apologize to the Arbrey family, the Ahmaud Arbery's mother, you know. But the fact of it is, she accepted his apology, but she said he shouldn't have said that, you know, because the jury did. Most people, if I met Al Sharpton, I would know who he is. But a lot of people don't even know who Al Sharpton is. They know who he is because of CNN and they know his name. But if they just saw him standing at a store or standing in the courtroom, sitting in the courtroom, people wouldn't know who Al Sharpton is right away. Because most people don't follow politics and things like that. Most people. Now, if somebody came along and said, man, that's Al Sharpton over there, I'd be like, what? That is Al Sharpton. But Al Sharpton said the man didn't even know he was in the courtroom until somebody brought it to his attention. Even the lawyer himself who said what he said didn't even know Al Sharpton was in the courtroom. Didn't even know it. This is the man's apology.
My apologies to anyone who might have inadvertently been offended.
In court, defense attorney Kevin Goff trying to walk back his comment from the previous day.
Now, the crazy part about all this, the white woman, I think it's his paralegal. You know, these lawyers, they have assistants. You know, I'll call them paralegals or, lawyer assistants or things like that. These are the grunts. These are the people who do the paperwork for the lawyers. She was so taken aback by what her boss said. I want y'all to look at this woman real quick. Look at her reaction when the man, I got arrows pointing to her. But even she was like, man, I can't believe he just said that. I can see her quitting. Like, she's probably not going to bring attention to the case and quit right now. But now that this guy has been exposed, I can see her, after this case is over with, looking for another job. Because she's probably trying to be a lawyer herself, and she don't want to be attached to this. Look at her face. Look at her reaction.
There's with white masks sitting in the back. I mean, that would be good.
Now, I put Cat Williams, one of my, he's one of the best comedians of all time, and I put a little short clip meme to Cat Williams at the front of the show. You know, he used the N-word a lot, and that's offensive to some people. But Cat Williams is funny. You know, he's basically telling you, man, you need to find you some black friends so they can tell you when some shit is not appropriate. You know, because obviously this man don't hang with too many black people. I mean, it's obvious. And the look on her face is priceless. I mean, she is really like, I can't believe this man just said this. You know, she's sitting there like, man, what have I done? I'm working for this guy. That's the look of a woman who can't wait till this case is over with. She's finna find her some more employment. But the good news about this is, if you've been following the Ahmaud Arbrey case, you would know that they going down. You know, I got a funny feeling that these three men, including the Roddy guy, is going to do some time behind this, if not life. But the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, be prepared, people. I don't think the jury is going to find him guilty of capital murder. But now, then again, you know, you never know. You never know. But my guess is they're not going to mess with him. They're going to let him free. He's going to be just like that guy down in Florida. After he get off of these murder charges, he's going to be running around with a whole bunch of white supremacists, talking crap, pointing guns, shooting. Videos gonna pop up of him at a shooting range with his chest stuck out. You know, he's gonna get off on this, people. I'm sorry to say this. You know, it's gonna make some people mad, but that's just the facts of it. But we're back, people. Like I said, I was under the weather for about 2 weeks. I was down. I'm talking about even my girlfriend, I told her to stay away from me for about a week, and she brought her butt over here anyway, and me and her was cuddled up on the couch, and I coughed in my arm, and within 2 seconds of me coughing, she started clearing her throat. And next thing I know, by the time she left my house, I warned her. I told her not to come over here. She came over here anyway. I warned the people. And when she came over here, She's sick now. You know, my sickness is almost over with. Now, her sickness is almost over with now too, but she caught it. You know what I'm saying? That's how violent this bug I had was. It might have been the flu. I don't know. The doctor really didn't tell me if it was the flu, but he told me I had a cold, and it was violent. I'm talking about it spread to her so fast within seconds. But within seconds of me coughing in my arm, the crook of my arm, she was sitting right next to me. Now, by the time she left my house, she was clearing her throat every 2 or 3 seconds, like, baby, you done got me sick. I was like, man, I told you not to come over here. I told you I had Pine-Sol, Lysol, I had all the Sols in the house. I was wiping down. I was like, man, I warned you. But she's okay. She's about to get over her cold. And as far as the Ahmaud Arbrey case and the Kyle Rittenhouse case, pray for everybody involved, people. And keep the families in your heart. And pray that these people take this bigotry out of their heart for other people that don't look like them. I hope y'all learned something here. This is the Daily Read, and I'm out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.